Hello all, welcome to my best in slot for melee classes guide. In this video, I'll be walking through all the items you should be using on your melee classes, and I'll also be explaining item pairing for the classes that apply. Now, if you will, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get 1,000 subs. I'd appreciate it enormously, and it's free. Now, without delay, let's get ahead in the video. The swords you should be using on a melee go as followed. Tier 14, Upgraded Ancient Stone Sword, Awakened D-Blade, and the final boss being Damnation. Now the reason why Damnation is the best is the highest DPS output, however you do need to hit all your shots. So if you're going to go up close and personal, I recommend Damnation and Demon Blade. If you want consistent damage at decent range, Tier 14, and if you're fighting a boss you cannot get close to, I recommend the Ancient Stone Sword. Now, the Ancient Stone Sword does work better on a warrior, purely because of the fire rate, but you can still use every single sword on any single melee class. They're equally as good as each other. Now, to talk about abilities for the Paladin. Now, you want the Doom's Emblem, highest DPS currently in the game, and Oreo, because of its invulnerability, and the ability to be able to run through enemies without taking loads of damage. Something that you cannot ignore. So, for the Knight class, the two shields that are going to be best for you to use is the Shield of Ogma, because you can armor break any enemy in the game, enough said, and Escutcheon, because you shoot loads of damage, 3 beams that can stun. There's no other shield that does anything similar to mana efficiency or anything like that. There's no reason to not use it. If we're going to be using Warrior, these are the abilities you should be using. So, there's Visage, for its incredible armor break DPS output, shooting one massive sword towards your enemy. And B-Helm, also very high DPS, however the difference is B-Helm lasts longer and can do more consistent damage. Now, to talk about rings you should be using on the Knight, Warrior and Paladin, there's 2 main rings you should be using if you're not using item pairing, which I'll discuss straight after this. Now these 2 rings is Gemstone, purely because the minus 10% total mana for each of your abilities, very useful, and you can build sets with it. Also Lean Crown, good DPS stats, it gives HP, there's really not much wrong, you can go with it. Now in the comments section, if I've missed out any basic rings you should be using over these 2, please feel free, I want to learn myself. But overall, on DPS calculator, these are the 2 rings you should be using. Okay, so for armors, there are 2 real armors you should be using. Either Mercy's Bane or Gladguard. Now, both of these are pretty much as good as each other. Mercy's Bane is more DPS stats, and Gladguard has more survivability. Okay, to explain item pairing for you guys, I'm going to do it class by class. To begin with Knight, there's a set with the Crystal Shield, Upgraded Rezu, and Eye Ring. Okay, to explain Crystal Shield, on ability use, which costs 40 MP a second, you get the Armored ability. Now, all MP recovery is disabled whilst using the ability, so you can't just constantly spam HP pots like you used to be able to. Now, the damage of the shield is 250 to 350, and plus 6 damage per defense over 40. You're on a knight, you've got loads of defense anyways, get your exaltations done for 3 damage. Now let's move on to the damage it does. Whilst you're armoured, on taking damage, you fire a shot in retaliation. So going back, 250 to 350, and then plus 6 damage per defense over 40, and on taking 30 or more damage, you heal 10 HP. Now, this item used to be the best in the game, but no longer is because they took away this invulnerability. It's worth mentioning, because it is still very highly usable in endgame content. You can do some fun little drags around the boss. Just a really nice item to use overall, and it is BIS if you're going for that sort of build. Now, for all 3 characters, an item pair you can use is Kage and Wakabiki. Now, what Kage gives you is plus 100 HP, MP, 5 Vit, and 5 Wiz, and also reduces the magic casting cost of the ability by 10%. So, another alternative to Gemstone. Not as much MP for certain builds, but here we go. And on ability, you summon a level 2 Assorted Friendly Spirit. Now, those spirits can either be pink, blue, or yellow. Now, the pink one heals allies and attacks enemies within 3 squares. The blue slows and attacks enemies within 3 squares. And yellow curses and attacks enemies within 3 squares. The lifetime is 6 seconds, and there's a 1.5 cooldown between all of the spirits. So what Wakabiki does, it gives you 20 defense, 15 vit, 15 wisdom, and plus 80% HP equal to vitality. Now, on ability use, it summons a friendly spirit which slows enemies and zaps them for 150 damage per second. Now, there's 3 levels to the ability. Level 1, it slows within 3 squares. Level 2, it does 100 damage a second and slows. And the third one does 200 damage a second and slows. So the reason why you pair Wakabiki and Kage to each other is mainly because of the plus 80% HP equal to Vit from Wakabiki, but also the minus 10% mana reduction from Kage. Also, it can give slow, curse, and healing to you. Don't really want to use them individually. You can kind of get away with Kage by itself, but Wakabiki by itself is, in general, a no-go for melee classes. Now, if you're going to be playing Paladin and you want a full invulnerability set, here's the set that you're going to be rocking with to get as much value as you can for both mana and versatility. So obviously the ability is going to be Oreo. Enough said, on ability press you get invulnerability. For your armor choice, you're going to be using Curus. When you're in combat, you gain 1.6 seconds of invulnerability with a 20-second cooldown. So at the same time as Oreo, you now have on shoot an armor that also does the same. And it also gives a juicy plus 60 HP, 20 defense, and 10 vit. You just can't go wrong with that. Now, your ring of choice is going to be Amulet of Restoration, an upgraded Ami from Haunted Cemetery. Now, on taking damage below 20 HP, you gain 2 seconds of invulnerability, and if you can, you heal for 120 HP. On top of this, it gives plus 3 of the core 6 stats and plus 60 HP and MP. If you can get this Ring Divine to give it more base stats, you will almost never use, in quotation, your insurance policy, which is what this ring is. On top of your Curus and your Oreo, there's no way you can die unless you get insta-popped. It's so free, you can hard sit on pretty much any boss you want. It's so fun, I recommend this one especially. Another set you can use with Paladin is Oreo and the Eye Ring. Now, the Eye Ring, on hit with a physical attack, it does damage 300 to 400, right? And you've got your invulnerability from Oreo. So you can sit on the boss, shooting your weapon, and also doing damage from your ring as a quick swap out. It's a nice, cheap, easy one. Very easy to get both items. It's worth a try if you've never tried it already. So for Warrior, an item pair you can use is Esbon's Wedding Ring. Now on equip, this gives 80 HP and MP. It gives you plus 10 attack, but it takes away 5 defense on equip. And the reason why you want to be using Esbon's Ring is on shoot while you're berserk, you gain damaging for as long as your berserk's up. Now there's a 0.8 second cooldown in between, so pretty much you can spam this all you want. You get both berserk and damaging on shoot. You can't really go wrong with both. Now for the honorable mentions of items you could use, but aren't going to be BIS, you've got Divinity. Now Divinity base damage isn't great at all. Its saving grace is the 1000 beam it gives. However, this item is strictly used for clearing. It should not really be used in many scenarios if you have access to any other sword. The same goes with a marble sword from Lost Halls. This item is just literally just got range. It's got good range, it's got solid damage, however, it's not got good damage. Now, if these are the items you can use, by all means use them. They're not unusable, they're completely usable. However, there are just better items out there in the game. Now, this does take us to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If I've missed anything in this video, please let me know in the comments section. Again, I'm really sorry that the Shatters video took so long. I made this one as quickly as I could. Have a good day. Happy roaming.